this episode of MythBusters.
Let's do some science.
Adam and Jamie toss a ton of toast
Bombs away.
to see which way it really falls.
Buttered side down again.
Making people yawn isn't the MythBusters way, but is it really contagious?
I was yawning all day.
And it's David against Goliath as a toy car goes head-to-head with the real thing.
The anticipation is killing me.
Who are the MythBusters?
Am I missing an eyebrow?
Adam Savage
I reject your reality and substitute my own.
and Jamie Heineman.
Quack, damn you.
I wouldn't say Jamie's an evil genius.
Between them, more than 30 years special effects experience.
When will the fun ever stop?
They don't just tell the myths, they put them to the test.
Introducing the 1970 Johnny Lightning Challengers.
First off the grid, a myth that's almost as old as toy cars themselves.
Fast. Race any other cars against the new Johnny Lightning Challengers and see for yourself.
That's an invitation that the MythBusters just can't refuse. So strap yourself in for a classic schoolyard myth.
I gotta say, Carrie, I am really, really jealous that you guys get to do the legwork on this next myth. It sounds like a lot of fun.
I'm really excited about this one. The myth is that a toy car can go faster than a real car.
That's coasting, right?
Yeah, under just the acceleration of gravity, a toy car going down a quarter-mile track against a race car, the toy car is going to win.
I would imagine the toy car is definitely going to go faster for the first 100, 200 feet. It's going to reach its maximum speed in a very short period of time. The larger car is going to take longer, but is it going to go faster? I don't know. I mean, to be honest, I really don't have a guess on this one. These are the fastest cars around.
To find out, they'll need to know how fast a toy car can go before its wheels fail. They'll also need to know how fast one will go before wind resistance becomes too great and flips the car off the track. Our resident gasheads are in pole position to get this myth revved up.
I love toy cars. I got my very, very first kiss over one of these toy cars. And then he punched me.
First, they need a rig to test toy car wheels to destruction at up to 80 miles per hour.
What we're going to do is put the wheels, or the actual car, on the belt sander and run it at that speed to see how fast we can go before the wheels break. What a mechanic I am.
How's it working?
Nice.
It looks like the build team are off to a flying start. But when they calculate the speed of the belt sander using a tachometer,
It's saying 550 RPM.
they hit their first problem.
So that's going 43 miles an hour.
That's it?
Not fast enough.
Why don't we rig up something else? Like we could do something with a grinder that's 30,000 RPM.
Why don't
The
we
wheels
just
have to
why don't we
spin
just
really
jack up a
fast.
car? Jack up a car, attach the wheels to the actual car wheel, and then just floor it.
Brilliant and potentially deadly. So, a perfect MythBusters rig. The car is jammed up against the wall in case it falls off the jack while the wheels are at high speed.
Yeah, and with the angle that we've got the forks at, it's not going to slip forward, it's going to slip back, if anything.
They tape up the treads to create a smooth test track. Then position Scotty's rig with a C-stand.
Just see the way it's sitting.
Yeah, it seems fine to me.
Seems all right. Not too much pressure on the wheel.
There we go.
15, 25.
If the toy wheels stay on the wagon, there could be mileage in this myth.
30,
There went one wheel. What was that mile per hour?
35.
Well, they're not rated for much, are they?
35 miles per hour might be disappointing, but Jamie's not convinced about the rig.
I think it's about the weight, and I don't like this setup because we got this C-stand on here.
Okay.
I'd like to try one and just hold on to it because I can make it, a featherweight, which is all it should be.
Okay.
Rather than risk Jamie's hands-on approach, they decide to modify the rig.
What we've been having as a problem, our first rig was putting too much pressure on the wheels. So what we did is we changed it up a little bit. Now we're just having a car held in place, no pressure on top, but it's just resting on the tire. And this way it'll give us a more accurate result of what a car would actually be doing.
Okay, Scotty, start her up.
With a wooden shoe holding the toy car in place, Scotty steps on the gas.
45, 50,
Wow, look at that.
65, 70, 85.
It's out of its shoe.
That's pretty cool. It held in there.
Yeah. I can't see any wear on them. They look fine.
But over about a quarter mile, you think they'd hold up?
They look like they're going to be fine.
It's all systems go.
We know that the little wheels are actually achieving the speed that the big car is achieving, and it's good enough for me to want to pursue the project more and see what they'll actually do in a real condition.
I think the Myth is looking pretty good. I know these cars can pick up some good speed going downhill, and you know, if the tires are willing to hold up, pretty much the wind resistance is the only factor that might slow it down.
For experiment number 2, the build team needs a wind tunnel, and they turn to a tried and tested MythBusters method.
This is a nifty little rig based on Adam's penny drop rig. We're basically trying to find the maximum velocity of our little toy cars to see under perfect conditions at what point the wind is just going to not allow these cars to accelerate any further.
A leaf blower is hooked up to Jamie's homemade Variac, which will allow them to adjust the wind speed inside the tube. A meter will register the maximum wind speed each toy car can endure before it flips out.
Ready to plug in?
Ready to plug in. Duster! Next to Mustang! Stay! This is really finicky.
It looks easy on paper.
That's it! Right there! 73! 76.2! 70! We're balancing at 74.9!
The wind tunnel experiment backs up the wheel test results, suggesting toy cars can achieve speeds of over 70 miles per hour. The myth that a toy car can lick a real car is shaping up nicely, in the lab at least. The MythBusters lab tests are complete, so it's time to shift things up a gear.
Carrie, I think those lab results you guys came up with on the cars is really impressive. I mean, it really seems at this point that a toy car might be a contender against a real car.
We don't know how it's going to do on the actual day, but under perfect lab conditions, we got up to 70 miles an hour in our wind tunnel.
Well, they do seem like they go pretty fast, but I think we can do better.
I think we should each build our own car that we think could be the fastest. We can use any material. Each of us gets a shot at making the fastest car.
Scotty and Carrie kick things off by customizing production models and come up with Hot Pink and Gecko.
Mine's the prettiest.
Jamie's up next, and as his business includes building toy prototypes, he's on familiar ground.
It actually hasn't been that long since I've played with toy cars. In fact, with what I do for a living, I do it all the time.
So this is what Jamie calls work when he's not on MythBusters.
Aha! The van kicks butt. I have no idea why.
But in no time, his trained eye spots something.
One thing that I've noticed about these two cars is that they have significantly different wheelbase widths. The van is wider and can't bounce around from sidewall to sidewall. I think that may be the key difference between all these little cars.
Jamie decides to build a car from scratch.
Well, it's a little tiny pizza cutter wheel.
So Adam rises to the challenge. And if there's ever a quick conclusion to be reached, he's your man.
That's all I need to see. The van seems to go as fast as Scotty's supercar here. I've got an idea already in my head. So I think I'm just going to go for my idea. See what I get. How you going?
Not too bad. How are you?
All right.
Making a little car?
I am.
End of conversation. Adam's design is top secret.
That's going to be one of the tires.
With just one afternoon to produce a winner, Jamie comes up with a sleek aluminum racer. while Adam's gone for chunky lead.
I don't think it'll sell very well for some reason.
It's the newest kid things. It's brick car. It's faster than anything and uglier than everything too.
And if you throw it at your brother really hard, it'll kill him.
Yeah, I'm not going to win any design awards with this. Shall we race?
Yeah, whatever.
Because whoever wins this race is better. Ready?
Go.
Adam's first over the line, even though he's come off the track.
Well, I feel like I'm onto something.
Ignoring his spill, he adds a few finishing touches and calls it a day.
It looks like it was built for one thing. It was built for super speed.
I think it looks like it's built for killing children. And what's all this crap on the back of it?
That's the rocket engine, man. That's the solid rocket fuel booster thing.
While the boy racer dreams, Carrie and Scotty search out a suitable racing grade.
That's a good 10 degrees. Might be a little busy on this street, though.
While they're scouring the streets of America's slopiest city, another myth is calling.
This is the Great British Yawn.
No one knows why we do it. Is it to get rid of built-up carbon dioxide? Is it an evolutionary leftover, something our primitive ancestors did? And can it really be passed from one human to another?
So how are we going to test whether or not yawning is contagious?
Well, first we need a test audience.
We're going to have to isolate them and be able to watch them with hidden cameras.
And we're going to have to be able to control this. Let's say it's a room. We build a room.
We're going to have to plant a yawning seed in the room as well.
You mean somebody who's in on the gag?
Yawn.
That's good. Okay.
I think we can put an ad out on the internet looking for extras, and then we just don't tell them what they're here for. That way we can get them to go sit in a waiting room and we can start messing with their minds.
While the build team gets to work on a chamber of yawns, let's find out more about yawning. Yawning is involuntary. The mouth opens and the jaw drops to allow in as much air as possible. As the lungs fill to capacity, stomach muscles contract and the diaphragm is pushed down. The heart beats up to 30% faster. Then, when the lungs are full, excess air is expelled. The yawn chamber is rigged with spying devices, like a two-way mirror and a hidden camera. Now, a bit of set dressing, and they're ready to bore.
This is the technical explanation of the tax and pension provisions of H.R. 3108.
Wait, did we want them to yawn or completely pass out?
I think this is good stuff. I think it's
Just a few days ago, this was just a bit of garage. Now it's a room that looks like it's been lived in for years, with a few extra tricks. Behind our Jamie and Adam picture, there's a secret microphone. And would you ever believe that this right here is a camera?
Not exactly James Bond. Could the build team be underestimating MythBusters fans?
If anybody yawns in this room, I'm gonna catch it. I'm very, very excited about this.
Our test subjects are here. We're about to bring them in.
Those poor souls. They're about to be bored to within an inch of their lives. First, the control. The group's left in the empty room for 10 minutes. Nothing to read, no talking aloud. Here are some highlights.
Absolutely no yawning.
No yawning in 10 minutes. I yawned twice.
Okay, so this time on your clipboard, you'll find a document. Please just sit quietly and read it.
Next, the lucky volunteers get to read some tax law. The excitement reaches fever pitch. People, we have our first yawn. Now, will it travel round the room like a Mexican wave?
Another one. 4 real yawns and 2 half yawns, but I think they're all out of the same person.
first 2 tests are inconclusive. So for test number 3, Scotty tries to infect the subjects with the yawning bug. But they appear to be totally immune. Unlike Carrie. Then, at Yawn Central, sudden panic. The watchers think they are being watched. Has their cover been blown?
I swear that guy's looking right at me.
Or is working in a dark, confined space starting to get to them? None the wiser, the bemused volunteers go back to lives which suddenly seem far more exciting. But what about the results?
First, our control, absolutely no yawns. 2, the most successful test of all, the Hack's Laws. We had 8.5 yawns from one woman, 2 yawns from a man in a jacket, 1 from the man in plaid, 2 from the kid, and half a yawn from the woman in red.
The woman in blue was like a yawning machine. She would not stop. I mean, it was like every couple of minutes she was yawning and nobody else was taking the bait.
And there was no yawning at all during Scotty's yawn seeding experiment. The conclusion so far is no conclusion. The yawning myth is still wide open. Time to bring in Adam and Jamie on this one.
Except for that picture.
I love those guys. They're not boring, they're exciting.
Did anyone walk in and go, hey, how you doing?
Yeah, pretty much. Really?
Adam and Jamie believe the build team have been using too few guinea pigs and too many stimuli.
I think for all of these things, you need a bigger sample, you need a longer test.
I think definitely. Like,
And they can't know that we're
Right.
doing this.
You can't know that you're doing a test, and really you have to leave them alone in the room.
Yes, just
You
waiting.
have to just leave them alone in the room
Sit
waiting.
here and wait.
What you guys are telling us is that we need to go back and try this again.
Yep. All right, well, look forward to see what you come up with next time.
Thanks, guys.
All right.
Back on the city streets, the girls are searching for steep slopes. But Carrie and Scotty can't find a straight quarter mile, the length of a drag racing strip for their toy car racetrack.
I think we might have to go out of town. I don't think San Francisco's gonna have any doable hills for us.
We're going to Tahoe. We're going to
Road trip! Even though we live in a very hilly city, we could not find a quarter mile of straight track. So we're going all the way up to Lake Tahoe, laying out a quarter mile of this toy car track, getting a Viper, and we're racing the cars.
The MythBusters head for the hills in one of the Southwest's most beautiful locations. Lake Tahoe's Ski Boulevard is the venue for the big event. It's both long enough and steep enough for a gravity-powered race-off.
I think they'll get going pretty fast. We'll be most of the way by the time we get to the bottom of this hill.
Yeah, I think the quarter mile is right about where the stop sign is.
Go for it.
200 feet. Okay, that's 300 feet.
It's a suitable grade, and the quarter-mile track fits neatly into one block, just as Jamie estimated.
That was freakish.
Jamie stood at the top of the hill and said, quarter miles just about to the stop sign. And how far off was he?
He was off by 16 feet. You know, sometimes he pulls something out that's just a little bit freakish.
I know.
Maybe we shouldn't tell them.
He is a robot.
I think so.
Jamie is a robot.
Not bad for a man of 75.
Right on cue, the real speed machine arrives.
Purrs like a kid. I think that just about says it. Get in, sit down, shut up, hang on.
Have you heard the myth that a small toy car, like a 64th scale toy car, can actually beat a car like this just in a gravity slope race?
It should.
Really?
It should.
You think so?
I would be flabbergasted if it didn't. When you shove the clutch in here, you got 3,000 pounds that has to get rolling. And that little thing is going to be down the hill and gone.
So the sun sets on race day eve with the toy car a surprise favorite. Tomorrow, the real excitement begins. At Yawn Central, nothing went right the first time round, so it's back to the drawing board.
I'm totally bummed. This experiment is just not working. We haven't achieved anything that we put up on our blueprint.
Well, I think our biggest problem with the last time is we were not consistent. Like, nothing we did was consistent. We had, different number of people coming in. We were giving them all kinds of stimuli.
We just need a do-over. We need to start this over. We put way too much work into this not to get really definitive results. We have to come up with a new plan.
I think what we need to do is we'll do it again, keep it consistent, and instead of bringing the people to us, we'll take it to the people.
6:30 a.m. at a local flea market, where the MythBusters hope to get a bigger sample of test cases. They've modified a truck. Inside, it's a multi-chambered yawning observation lab.
Well, the MythBusters are here to perform a psychological experiment. We needed a crowded, sort of outdoor atmosphere to be able to get our subjects from. And we plan to run through about 30 or 40 today in our custom-built MythBusters psychological chamber. And we're going to see if we can get anyone to yawn by influencing them.
Adam and Jamie set off to chum the waters of the market and net some unsuspecting fans.
There we go. What do you think?
Before long, there's a feeding frenzy around the MythBusters stall.
Sure, I'll do it.
Okay.
Okay. Sure, why not?
All right, Alan, so if you'll just go back to Tori over there.
This time, they are testing one variable only, the seated yawn.
Sorry, we've been up since 4. Back to your room.
Oh, come on in, follow me. Sit in a little room quietly, and I'll come get you briefly.
There's 3 yawn cubicles, each fitted with a hidden camera, and one observation chamber, where Tori is on watch. Carrie will yawn at 2 of every 3 subjects as she ushers them into their cubicle.
So we're going to see if they yawn faster with some influence than without any. Every third person will be a control, which Carrie will give no influence to. And we'll see if there's actually a difference.
So the experiment begins, and Tori gets down to some careful observation of the subjects doing nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's starting to seem like the MythBusters are just way too much fun to evoke even the slightest yawn. Then, a breakthrough.
We may have had a yawn first.
And after the drought, a flood of yawning is unleashed. The MythBusters suddenly have the Midas touch. Even the local dogs get caught up in the current of yawns that's sweeping the market. The experiment also suggests that some guinea pigs are more observant than others. And finally proving that all good things must come to an end, 5 hours and 50 test cases later, the Yawnathon draws to a close.
That was it. That's the last one. We're done.
For Carrie, it's not a moment too soon.
I was yawning all day, to the point where my cheeks were hurting and my eyes were watering.
All right, well, after testing 50 people in the field, our largest sample we've ever used on MythBusters, the results are in. And when the people we tested got no seed yawn, no stimulus, they yawned 25% of the time. When they got stimulus, they yawned 29% of the time.
Well, it's not dramatic, but it seems like it's pretty good to me. What do you guys think? Busted, plausible, or confirmed?
Given how large our sample was, I'd say it's confirmed.
Confirmed.
Yeah.
There's little doubt, it does seem to be contagious.
And I bet the audience at home right now is probably yawning.
You know, Jamie, this coming up is a question that has plagued the breakfast table for generations.
And that would be whether buttered toast falls buttered side up or down more often.
Exactly. You know, Jim, it is in truth universally acknowledged that a man in possession of a good fortune must be in want of a myth to bust.
Well, it has been an absolutely capital year for busting myths.
Indeed, most agreeable.
More tea, sir.
Thank you, I'll get it.
Buttered side down again? Well, that sounds like something we need to test, and I have an idea.
Well, I have an idea too, actually. Let's say we actually go off, build two separate rigs, get them together, and see which one comes up with a better result.
That sounds like a capital idea.
Excellent.
At long last, this centuries-old breakfast brain teaser is going to be put to the test. But why simply drop buttered toast when you can build an over-elaborate machine to do it?
I love the Rube Goldberg approach. It's always funny to me to bring in pneumatics and other sciences to bear on something like toast falling off of the table.
Adam goes over the top with a pneumatic device which mimics breakfast table mishaps.
There are many ways that toast can fall, but the most common, it would seem to me, is toast accidentally getting brushed off a table like that. Now the question is how to come up with a mechanical model that can repeat that type of action. And what I've got here is a top-loading toast tosser.
Toast tosser is right. His solenoid valve is way too powerful.
Now there's a problem with my rig right off the bat, which is it's just throwing the toast like a frisbee, like that. I was trying to think of something slightly more random that would brush it off the table like that.
Adam recalibrates his rig, so instead of launching toast across the kitchen, it recreates the classic brush off the table scenario.
The toast tosser 2.0.
First, he runs a control experiment with unbuttered toast.
They're all starting top side up. Top side's labeled. Down. Down.
He's hoping for a random sample
Down.
where the toast lands top side up and down in equal numbers.
We're showing totally consistently that a piece of toast just brush off does one flip and lands top side down.
With a certain pressure.
With a certain pressure. So I'll bet if we went to, 1,000 restaurants and shot 1,000 people tipping toast off, that it would probably be pretty close to this. That's what my intuition says. But it doesn't help. That is answering the question about people's proclivities to tipping toast.
And the aim is to eliminate people from the toast dropping process. So Adam now wants a less naturalistic model, where the toast is suspended in midair and then dropped without any human intervention.
In terms of the question, does toast, when it's buttered, prefer to fall to one side or the other? I think that's a question that's much better answered by Jamie's rig.
Which, as you'll see, is a kind of a spring thing.
There you go.
But first, it's race day at Tahoe.
I'm most definitely a morning person. I'm up this early anyway.
Adam and Jamie, night and day.
Well, it's pre-dawn. It's freezing. And we're getting together a quarter mile of toy car track. If you want to play with the big toys, apparently you have to get up really early in the morning.
Armed with 1,320 feet of track, our toy car gladiators set out to do battle. But before they can go head-to-head with the Viper, there's a world record length of toy track to lay, specially manufactured for MythBusters by Mark Kazimoff of Race Grooves, assisted by his offspring, Amanda and Jeremy.
Well, Mark, have you, in your experience, ever heard of anybody laying out 1,300 feet of track?
A quarter mile of track? No, as far as I know, nobody's ever come close. 100, 200 feet, maybe. Never on a total slope like this. This will be the first time to my knowledge.
Pressure's on.
Can't feel fingers.
We're gonna get run over by a car. Oh!
Did that guy just drive over the track?
It's a lot of work laying out a quarter mile of track.
I'm just gonna be out there straightening.
Please note the Heineman doing his careful straightening work. Jamie's people have been track straighteners since the Middle Ages.
Even with that pedigree, Jamie's got his hands full.
Every half hour or so, this track is gaining 2 or 3 inches.
As the day heats up, things start to go curly.
The problem is that as the sun is hitting our truck, it's making the plastic expand. And it's actually causing it to buckle. This track in the hot sun could actually be 5 or 6 feet longer over 1,300 feet than in the cold.
Jamie's gonna be running up and down that track all day. We're fighting shadows.
I'll tell you what, I've had enough of this already today. Tell him to go.
Scotty, are you ready to do a test run?
Just go.
Okay, here it comes. 3, 2, 1.
It's the longest toy track in history, but is it flat enough?
The anticipation is killing me.
Is it coming still?
It stopped.
Start 200 feet, over. Let's go straight into another run, over.
Fingers are crossed.
Oh!
But the track's still buckled.
We're gonna take a break right now because we could keep on doing this until the cows come home.
A quick team talk and a tough decision is made. To keep this myth alive, it must be radically scaled down.
Just ridiculous to keep trying, spend half an hour to undo these buckles when they just keep appearing. So right now, we're going to go up to the 400-foot mark, and I'm going to time it with a stopwatch at 400 feet. At least we'll be able to get a bunch of repeated runs in. This has been so spotty up until now.
Back at the MythBusters workshop, Jamie's rig is ready to test if toast lands butter side down.
Okay, so I'm always gonna put the top facing to this side.
Facing which way? This
that way, yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, Adam.
Ow, it hurts to laugh. Well, I didn't know the rig wasn't assembled.
So you want to mark it now?
Sure.
Once again, they first test out dry toast to get a random sample without butter.
Down. Not exactly a rip-roaring reset, is it?
You know that I'm not inclined to overbuild a rig and when it's untested.
I know. I know that at the end of the day you'll get the job done. Down.
There's something about this rig
Down.
that's building in a bias.
Down.
And they suspect the spring action is to blame.
I think we need to stop testing with this thing.
Why?
Because right now we've got 3 up and 7 down.
Okay.
We're way outside of a random sample. We want to come up with a test that with unbuttered toast gives us a fully random statistical distribution of toast falling up or down.
So, unable to provide a random sample with unbuttered toast, both the trapdoor dropper and the top-loading tosser bite the MythBusters dust.
You know, Adam, I don't think either of our rigs really got to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I think your rig had it a little better than mine. Yours was an empirical model, mine was a naturalistic model. I think we need to build a rig that has absolutely no bias at all in terms of how it drops it.
Well, let's just build my rig, but a better one.
I think that's a great idea, and I think we should also actually automate the whole process. Let's get an automatic toaster like they have at the deli. Maybe you could put together a conveyor belt for it. We'll put a thermometer to make sure they're all the same temperature when they go. Buttering station. Let's automate as much of this as we can to eliminate all the variables.
All right, we're gonna get to the bottom of this.
Once and for all.
Adam and Jamie join forces to build the most elaborate toast-dropping test rig of all time.
Probably gonna cut these down, actually, way down. A toast dropper. Who would have thought?
Oh, looks good. Should work.
I'm gonna make a little wedge for this so that it, activates them both at the same time.
It's another Rube Goldbergian device, pneumatic-powered and hands-free.
It should drop toast perfectly level and consistently each time, thus eliminating any human factor in cheating the toast buttered side up or buttered side down when it drops. There's our piece of toast, held innocently. And when I want to drop it, I push this button, and it drops. It's kind of surreal to have spent so much time and effort on a machine that just drops pieces of toast perfectly straight. I think we've blown the whole toast dropping mechanism field wide open.
The toast dropper is done to a T. All that's needed now is a toast transporter.
This is a toast conveyor belt, and while it's not entirely necessary, it'll add a certain level of complexity to our device that we like.
Unnecessary? Over-elaborate? Sounds like fun. Back at Lake Tahoe, the track has been shortened to 400 feet, and inaugural time trials are underway to find which toy car will face the Viper.
Cruising!
We have a white car ready when you are.
We're ready down here. Give us a countdown.
3, 2, 1.
The white Camaro is low, sleek, and fast.
Oh, look at that.
Well, it was riding on top of the middle meridian, and it still made it in 23 seconds.
That's 22 miles per hour, the fastest of the Johnny Lightning entrants. But what about the MythBusters homemade prototypes?
Okay, Adam's lead thing is up next.
The boy racer is first on the grid, and his reputation is on the line.
Okay, watch your fingers and limbs, because it's gonna fly.
Now, some people say toy car racing is a matter of life and death.
Oh!
But not Adam.
That part came off of it.
Yeah, big shocker there.
To him, it's way more important than that.
Well, it looks like, as I thought, it was top heavy.
Well, you can understand my disappointment. I just want to see it happen.
Adam's still dreaming of the checkered flag.
Wrecked in the same place.
But before long, he's waving a white one.
Well, he got, kind of ambitious with his lead approach and figured he was going to wipe everybody out.
I thought so too.
I'm very sad about my car.
It's too top heavy.
Mental note, never work with animals or children.
Okay, we're getting ready to go with mine, over.
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
So, from Adam's lead balloon to Jamie's silver bullet.
That was a very handy 18 seconds, over.
Damn, you took 4 seconds off the top record. Jamie, you won!
Isn't that beautiful?
Mental note, animals, children, and Carrie. So the lineup is decided. Jamie's prototype and the white Camaro go into the snake pit against the Viper. Under power, it's capable of speeds of up to 200 miles per hour. But how about coasting downhill under gravity? Can it beat a toy car? Or will the mini-me's get a jump on the muscle monster?
I really think the toy car is gonna beat the Viper.
I would put my money on the toy car.
I think the toy car is just gonna smoke the Viper.
Big car would probably get
Big car? You guys are betting big car? All right, we'll see who wins.
Kids, what do they know?
So this is it, Scotty. The Viper against the toy car, the Johnny Lightning, under gravity only. You ready?
We're ready to go on our end, on your count.
3, 2, 1.
Johnny Lightning's off to a flyer. At 25 feet, he's smoking it. At 50, he's hanging on.
It's neck and neck.
But the Viper bites back.
We're hitting 30.
And takes the checkered flag. But where's Johnny? There's Johnny. Hardly a photo finish.
Viper wins!
The Dodge Viper won handily.
It was neck and neck right in the beginning there for the first 100 feet almost.
Wishful thinking, toy maker.
So it's Geppetto's turn to race his silver bullet. It was 4 seconds faster than the white Camaro. Maybe, just maybe.
We're ready to go on our end, on your count.
3, 2,
1.
We're hitting 20.
Jamie's ahead at 25 feet. And at 50.
I see Jamie's car coming.
At 100, he's still edging out the Viper.
Ooh, it's close.
Ooh, close.
13 seconds. Damn, that was good. The Viper crossed the mark at 13 seconds. Jamie's car had its fastest time, crossing the mark at 17 seconds. Still not enough to beat the Viper. I think this one's busted.
Actually, it beat the Viper over 100 feet. Over.
It's been a red-letter day of myth-busting.
I beat the Viper over 100 feet.
Time for a racing roundup. So, over 100 feet, a new confirmed myth.
And who's going to have more than 100 feet of track anyway?
How about a quarter of a mile?
I think we definitely set a world record for the most amount of toy car track ever laid out in one contiguous distance.
And a land speed record?
Yeah, I can't say that we actually set a land speed record for a toy car, but I'll wager that we came close.
Jamie's Silver Bullet hit 28 miles per hour.
While the toy cars were able to beat the sports car up to about 20 to 30 feet, and Jamie's car beat it up to about 100 feet, over 400 feet, the sports car won hands down, and over a quarter mile, it wouldn't be any contest at all. I mean, it's totally busted. And that's all she wrote.
Never in the realm of science or breakfast has so much effort gone into perfecting the art of making and dropping toast.
1, 2, 3, boop, go! And it drops it.
The new rig is ready. First, the control test, without butter.
When the toast gets to me for test number 1, I'll just be putting an X across the top of it, putting it in our toast dropper, and activating the drop and logging on this piece of paper whether or not it's landed up or down.
Okay, so 20 slices unbuttered.
Correct.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Adam limbers up, and it's game on.
Oh yeah. Here comes piece number 1. Down.
Next.
3, 2, 1, go.
Next.
The rig runs like clockwork, bringing on one of Jamie's schoolgirl giggling fits.
This is going to be an intense day, I'll tell you that. It's going to be like that episode of Lucy, you know, with the chocolates.
Next.
I notice you're not doing anything. Actually.
I'm loading the toast. That's my job.
Down.
Next.
This is the last slice of our test. We're showing a perfect statistical distribution up and down and down. We had 11 landed up and 13 landed down.
That's close enough.
At long last, a truly random sample.
I'd say that's pretty much what I'd expect in terms of any kind of random statistical anomaly of heads up, heads down. I think it can mean only one thing.
It's time to butter the toast.
It's time to butter the toast.
Okay, this is it, buttered test. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready, baby. I've got my butter standing by.
Okay, we're fully loaded.
200 degrees.
On deck.
In the field of buttered toast dropping,
on deck.
This is poetry in motion.
You all right down there?
I'm fine.
On deck.
These guys are cooking.
On deck.
The results, if anything, are showing the toast prefers to land buttered side up.
Or does it?
Last one coming through.
Throughout the ages, millions have wondered. Now, the waiting is almost over.
Amazing. We had 12 up, 12 down, 24 slices of bread, just like the first test. No difference at all.
Myth busted.
For the answer of off a table, does toast prefer butter up or butter down? I'd say it does not prefer either.
There's still stacks of bread in stock, so why retire a perfectly good rig? This is MythBusters after all. So they go for broke and take to the roof.
It's 27 feet, 5 inches to the toast drop. The first test we're gonna do is unbuttered toast. We're gonna do 50 slices. Then we're gonna do buttered toast, 50 slices. It's a sample of 100 pieces of bread. It should be very definitive.
If you lie awake wondering what happens when toast drops off a roof, your sleepless nights are almost over.
Toast rig is ready. Bread is loading. Let's do some science.
Toast on deck.
Here it comes. First one's
Toast
away.
on deck. Toast on deck.
Here it comes. Bombs away.
Starting to sound like a techno song. Toast on deck.
Watch out, falling toast. Bombs away.
Toast on deck.
Here comes another one. Bombs away.
Toast on deck.
Bombs away.
Toast on deck.
Bombs away. You're doing great, Carrie. Thank you.
You know, I went to college for this.
Bombs away. Jamie, as soon as we're done with this one, let's check our results and go right to the butter test.
You got it.
Here she comes. Toast on deck, the last one.
Bombs away. All right, Scotty, what are the results?
Okay, out of 48 slices, 26 landed face up.
So that's really close to statistically even-handed.
Exactly. For a while, it was exactly 50%.
All right, well, you guys ready for the butter test?
I'm so ready for butter. I love butter.
Give us about 2 minutes to get all the pats ready, and we'll go.
Time to butter up.
Initiating the butter sequence.
Butter sequence is initiating. First piece. Away!
Butter side up.
Away!
Butter up.
You're watching history in the making.
This must be what the Wright brothers felt like, or possibly Edison with his light bulb.
Away!
With each toast drop, the tension mounts.
What's the breakdown so far?
Out of 17 drops, the butter has landed up 12 times.
So butter up is winning.
Okay, my toast always lands butter side up.
Last slice. Here we go. Last slice is a charm, and away!
Let's just throw stuff on him now.
Come on. Stop making messes. You're not going to clean it up.
That's one messy sidewalk, but it's a small price to pay for scientific discovery.
So?
On the dry toast, the X landed up 26 times out of 48. On the buttered toast, the butter side landed up 29 times out of 48.
Adam, I actually saw what was going on here. The ones that were landing butter side up were ones that had been kind of pressed in a little bit because it forms a dish in the bread. And just like a leaf coming off a tree, if it comes off neutral and it's curved, it doesn't want to float down like this. It wants to go like that.
I totally agree with that assessment. I saw the same thing from up there. So I guess the thing is that if you really want to ensure, in general, your toast landing buttered side up or down, we can tell you that you should butter with a good vigor, and that resultant bowl will make your toast generally fall buttered side up.
When brushed off a table, toast shows a tendency to flip once, then land top side down. But without human interference, when dropped from midair, it's a different story.
In none of our testing, no matter what we did, we discovered no statistical predilection towards buttered side down. That's busted.
Busted.
Okay, you guys gonna wrap it up? I'm gonna go.